What is up, YouTube? N64 Fun Time coming back at you today. What am I doing today? So I've been watching some YouTube videos recently about reproduction carts for the Nintendo 64 again, and one thing I wanted to do was just do I did kind of a what to look out for reproduction carts and how to test them, and then what I'm going to do today is probably the hottest game right now as far as like reproduction carts go, is Conkers Bad Fur Day. So what we're going to do is in this video we're going to go into a little bit more depth of Conkers Bad Fur Day, specifically on what to look out for as far as repros. And then we're going to take it apart, and then I'm going to actually show you the board up close, high definition, in depth. That way, when you're looking for your Conkers Bad Fur Day, you know, you'll be able to have the knowledge, or just use this video as a reference guide to double check and make sure your Conkers Bad Fur Day is the real deal and not a flash cart. So yeah, without further ado, here we go. Alright guys, here we go. Sorry about the setup I have here. I try to get my camera to where I can do everything correctly and get it so where you guys can see this. But let's just go in on the label here. And it's not the best label. There is a scratch and stuff on it. But the first thing that you guys really want to look out for are the Nintendo seal of quality, and then the rare symbol. You'll be able to always read rareware really well. I've seen repros where they do the labels, and they're a little bit hazy maybe, and you can't fully read rareware. That's always going to be very clear, and then your Nintendo seal of quality is going to be also very it's going to pop out. It's going to, you know, look good. It's going to be shiny. There's, you know, always a high quality feel to these labels. Now for the European Conker, the label is just a little bit different. I believe there's a THQ on there. I believe that's who published this over in Europe. So there's a really good up close of the label. Make sure all your numbers line up, and just make sure your label looks like this. Looks very good, very clean, and you can almost always tell if there's a reprint kind of thing there. And then the other things you want to look out for are your security bits there. You always want to make sure that those are security bits instead of just a normal Phillips head. And then you always want to make sure you verify that this is an actual Nintendo cartridge. Now they can swap boards on you. They can take a Conkers, take the board out, and put a different board in there. So that's why it's really important to open the board up. That also kind of weeds out the repros or the repacks, or putting a, you know, Ken Griffey Jr. game inside an actual Nintendo cart and just slapping a Conkers label on there. So the things that you're going to need if you're going to open this thing up, a cartridge up, is you need a Nintendo security bit, and it just looks, let's see if I can focus in on those. It's really hard to focus, I apologize, but you can get these anywhere. I got mine on Lukey Games. You can get some pretty crappy ones, but you can get some high quality ones, and this one just fits inside a normal hex head screwdriver. And they also, this is the one for the cartridges, and then they also make one where you can open up your actual Nintendo cartridges as well. And the next thing you're going to need is just a small screwdriver. Now I'm being a little extra cautious, so I'm going to take my hand here, and I am going to put a glove on. What this does is I'm going to actually hold the board to show it up to you guys. This kind of cuts out the static electricity. If you don't have a glove, just make sure you're discharged onto metal or whatever, and make sure, you know, you don't have any static on you, just like you would be touching a motherboard. So we're using our security bit here. If you've never opened up a cartridge, there is a way that you can do this with a pen if you're using kind of the bigger screws, but oh shoot, my camera. But sometimes these smaller security screws, you don't have the luxury of using the pen trick. So now that you have your screws, I'll make sure they're all the way out. out, what you're going to do is you're just going to take your cartridge. Okay, one of these, this one, it's not all the way out. I like to leave those screws in there, but you just got to make sure they're all the way out. And then you just bring it forward, get past the tabs, and then you're going to use these, the smaller screwdriver on these down here. I'm just going to set the cartridge down. Now what's really interesting on these boards is just, I don't know how cool they look. There's a few different models for the size of the game. So you're going to just basically, again, push this forward just a little bit. You don't want to bend it too much because you'll bend the tabs a little bit. And then just kind of slowly work that off, and those little tabs on the back will kind of come off. So right here, this is an actual Conkers Bad Fur Day board. There's no extra soldering. There's no kind of weird stuff. Your chips are good. Your Nintendo 1996 is clear as day. And what's cool about these boards, if like the imperfections are what let you know that they're real boards, because they printed these boards off. Let me take this out of here. When they printed these boards off, they were just snaps, and literally if you look at the ends, you can see where they just snapped these boards off. And that's normal. These corners here where they snap them off, and just kind of toss them, and then you can, you know, put your chips in, solder your chips. Any wires, any weird soldering, anything like that is going to let you know that it is not a real board. Conkers has the two larger chips, and then, you know, you have your normal kind of chips there, but your two larger chips. Conkers does not have a battery backup. Whoops. And then again, a clean back with no soldering, and then you have just a mark right there. That's actually not uncommon. That's going to be just like a pencil mark, and that's just going to show you that the quality control individual checked out the board. So there's the back again. No wires, no extra solder, no, you know, anything special. Your corners are snapped off just like they normally would be. And then this is the larger board where you have the three, kind of the L shape. Some of the ones don't have this L shape here. They just go right across, and you have just a smaller board. But that's what the inside of a real Conkers cartridge does look like. Just for your reference, being able to check it out. And I figured that would be good because, like I said, I haven't seen people do high quality images of an actual Conkers board. If you're going to buy this game, if you're going to take the time to buy this game and spend this much money on the game, absolutely invest in one of these security bits. And if you go to a trade show or a game store or anything like that, and like I said, if you're spending that much money on a game, absolutely look it up and check it out. And if you're buying stuff on eBay, especially with these repros, a little more prevalent for the N64, if they're not allowing you to check these out and just double check that, you know, they're not repros and stuff like that, I honestly wouldn't buy it, because like I said, you're gonna get screwed. There are people who actually want to buy the repros because they're a little cheaper. That's okay. Just don't try to, you know, resell it and, you know, hurt the market. So those are my few little inputs. Those are my few little things that I can show you about the Conkers cartridge. And I hope you learned something about it. Always check your Nintendo 64 cartridges, and you know, they're great to collect, but you also want to know you have the right thing too, especially if you're going to resell your cartridges and stuff too. You don't want to give somebody a bogus cartridge if you accidentally bought a bogus cartridge. So, and then putting it back together, you just want to make sure your plastic inserts lined up correctly, and then you're just going to do everything in reverse. You're going to put your screws in and then close it back up with your security bit. So there you go. There's my little rant on reproduction carts and what to look out for. And yeah, now I just cleaned this, but if you are interested in cleaning your games too, you can take them apart and along the side, along the end here. Whoops, along the end here. Just rub it down with isopropyl alcohol, and you want to use the highest percentage of alcohol you possibly can. 97% usually is about as high as you can get, and you can get that at any local drugstore. But let's just close our cartridge back up. Security bits. Beauty. And if you have any more further questions on reproduction carts or what to look out for, or other games you would like to see that are selling for a little bit more money now, please just let me know. I'd be more than happy to open up my cartridges for you guys so you can see them for specific games. So there you go, Conkers Bad Fur Day, the real deal, the beautiful Conkers Bad Fur Day. We'll take good care of this one. And until next time, N64 fun time. Be nice, stay positive, always be gaming.